Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and while you're at it, click the bell to be notified of future videos. This block is called Pointed, and it's 12-inch finished. It's made from 8 half-square triangle units, 4 squares, and 1 rectangle. Here are 4 blocks set block to block. Now this is a pattern, a free download from Robert Kaufman Fabrics called Pointed. And down here I will have a link to that pattern where you can download the pattern. Here are the patches. We have 3 patches, and we also have the Quilt dies that will cut these 3 patches. Here's the bigger quilt. It's 60 by 84 inch finished. 35 blocks set 5 across and 7 down. It's really a pretty quilt. So patch A is a 3-inch finished square. We cut 3.5-inch squares, and we'll need 4 patches for the background fabric. Patch B is a 3-inch finished half-square triangle. We cut 3 7/8-inch squares, cut them in half on the diagonal once, and for 2 patches. So we'll need 8 patches of the background and 8 patches of the accent fabric. And finally, patch C is a 3-inch by 12-inch finished rectangle. We cut 12.5 inches by 3.5-inch rectangle, and we just need 1 from the background fabric. And this for Quilt, if you have your 3.5-inch strip cutter, you would cut your strips and then subcut those into 12.5 inches. And this is where your link will be. Here are the fabric cutting instructions, how many you need. And I've put instructions here for patch B, which is the half-square triangle. You can make 2 at a time half-square triangles. You can cut patches. I will also add, if you want to make 8 at a time half-square triangles, and there'll be a short tutorial showing you how to do that. Here I dug into my batik scraps, and I used my Quilt to cut 8 patches of the accent half-square triangle patches and 8 of the background. And here are the 4 squares and the 1 large rectangle. We're going to start by piecing the half-square triangles. And if you're sewing patches, either with Quilt or rotary cut, you just put them together like this, flip them over and match all 3 sides, and stitch this long edge and press your seams open and make 8 of these. Now if you're interested in making half-square triangles 8 at a time, here's a short tutorial that shows you how. We'll take the light fabric, and on the back we're going to draw some lines. First we're going to draw diagonal lines across the diagonal, and both of them, that's 2 lines. The next line will be a vertical line down the middle and a horizontal line down the middle. Take these fabrics and put them right sides together, match up all the sides. We're going to stitch a 1/4 inch on each side of the diagonal lines. So you'll have 2 lines of stitching here, you turn it, and then you'll have 2 lines of stitching here. We've done our stitching on both sides of each diagonal line. Here's what it looks like from the back. Now we're going to cut every line that we drew. So it's 4 different lines, and we'll cut each line. Now we open them up and we have our half-square triangle. We're going to press these open and then trim them. The 2 at a time half-square triangles are similar to the 8 at a time. We take our square, and on the back of the light fabric we draw a diagonal line, and then we stitch a scant 1/4 inch on each side of the diagonal line. And then we just cut on the diagonal line. And we have our half-square triangle that we will trim down. All of the half-square triangles will need to be trimmed down to 2.5 inches. We put the diagonal line on the ruler along the seam line of the half-square triangle. And we're checking all the sides. So this side has enough fabric I can cut off. I can cut off here, and here's the 2.5 mark, and I can cut some off there and some off here. So I'm going to cut these top 2 right now. And flip this over and just line up your 2.5 inch mark now and your diagonal line, and then trim the rest. Just a slight small amount that you're going to trim off, and do that to all of your half square triangles. And we'll take all of our patches and our half square triangle units and put the block together. I'll start with the rectangle at the bottom and just follow the diagram. Now we'll just sew the rows together. We have 3 rows, the top, the second one, and the third one. Sew those each together and press the seams open. Then you'll just sew the 4 rows together and your block will be finished. Thank you for watching.